Hello, everybody. Today I'm going to argue that yes, society do need to have a specific and universal age limit for voting. I'm going to start this argument with telling you about an argument I had with my own father a long time ago. I was very young, maybe 6, maybe 8, but in either case I was very angry because an election was coming and I wanted to vote. I wanted to make my own choice and vote for Donald Duck. My father asked me if I knew the names of any of the politicians, and no, I didn't. He asked me if I knew any of the names of the parties, and no, I didn't. And he asked me if I knew anything about political ideologies or how society was run, and no, I didn't. I don't remember for sure what I wanted to vote for, but I do think it was Donald Duck. This video is in response to another video that argued that we shouldn't have any age limit, just let the kids vote. This argument is much more interesting than the other kind of argument. There are some people who argue that the government should decide who gets to vote and who doesn't. The government, their agencies, should pick and choose on a case-by-case basis who is ready to vote and who is not. That argument is self-evidently ludicrous. We can't give government officials that kind of power. Even if it wouldn't be abused, and it would, there would always be people feeling that it was being abused. There'll be so much headache over it, even in the best case scenario. And like I said, it would be abused. So if this guy had used that kind of argument, I wouldn't have bothered to reply. His argument was instead that, okay, if a few people, if a few kids vote bullshit, it doesn't matter. And if some kids obey their parents and vote for whatever the parents are into, then that's no problem either. It's such a small problem. And some kids will lie to their parents and vote for the opposite anyway. This argument is compelling, but I don't think it's strong enough. There are several good reasons why we need to have an age limit. First of all, voting is about taking responsibility. This 18 years limit we have, it could also be 16 or 20, but we have 18 and the line has to be drawn somewhere. But anyway, one of the major points here is to underscore that you're old enough, we expect you to be responsible. We expect you to not vote for Donald Duck. We expect you to not vote for the Nazi party because their uniforms looks cool. We expect you to take responsibility. And of course, there are a lot of voters of all ages, especially young voters, but also older voters who don't take responsibility at all. They will vote for whatever. And we must let them do that because we can't pick and choose on a case-by-case basis who gets to vote and who doesn't. We need to have one system that is fair for everybody. There are a lot of younger teenagers who are ready to vote, but most of them don't get this problem anyway because they will have been turned 18 before the next election, and the few who are victimized by this, they can just wait for the next election. It's not that much of a problem. allowing kids to vote would be to accept and embrace the Donald Duck voting. We can't expect a kid to take responsibility and make their own choices. We would be embracing not only Donald Duck voting, but also children voting for whatever their parents tell them to vote for, or just opposition voting, voting against whatever their parents or whoever is in favor of. All these kind of anti-democratic voting behaviors that we really need to not encourage. Because like I said in a recent video, democracy is so much more than just elections. Elections are a very important part of it. Indeed they are a very necessary part, but they are not the only necessary part. They need to be an integrated part in the whole system. So this is my main argument against removing the age limit for voting. But there's also another reason. Some individual parents and some religious cults and so on could get an undue influence by simply starting to have a lot of children and making all their children vote for whatever they want to. To a little extent, this already exists, with parents trying to influence their kids. But it takes 18 years before the child gets to vote. That makes it so much less worth it. And more importantly, given 18 years of growing up, the child has a much better chance of breaking free from the parents and make their own choice. This is very valuable. By the way, my first argument, it is not only about the behavior of the individual voter, it is also about the behavior of the political parties and the lobby organizations and so on. The guy I'm replying to, he said that the children won't vote for the Teletubbies, and sure they won't, but we don't want commercial breaks on the Teletubbies telling the toddlers what to vote for. We don't want the political discourse to step down to the level that it would have to stop down to appeal to little children. Politics is sometimes too much done over people's head. I agree with that. But we need a balance. It is very often going too far in the other direction with being oversimplified, and it's not even a political discourse anymore. It's just people trying to score cheap points. We don't want to encourage that kind of behavior from politicians, mass media, lobbyists, etc. And letting children vote would be to tell not only the children that, hey, it's entirely okay to vote irresponsibly or to just obey your parents or to just make a bullshit vote as a fuck you to your parents. It would also be to tell the politicians, the mass media and the lobbyists that, yeah, you should go for the lowest common denominator and you should bring that one all the way down to the bottom. Let's go idiocracy all the way and let kids be the norm. No, let children be children, encourage them to grow up, encourage them to learn, encourage them to be able to participate for real in advanced political discourse. That is what we need to do. These are my two main arguments, both of them having some sub-arguments, but I'm sure there are more arguments out there. both arguments for the age limit and arguments against my arguments. I'm looking forward to hear them. For now, live long and prosper.